Yo, what's good? On Fire here, back on the video answer. We're going to be hopping into another QB run scheme in Madden 23. Now, you guys showed a lot of support on the first one that I did of these, where just showing off a nice run scheme. It's kind of meant to be a more realistic NFL type scheme. So if you're more into that, which I know a lot of you are, you should enjoy this. Now, we're going to be in the pistol strong slot formation out of the Baltimore Ravens offensive playbook. There's really been two pistol formations I've been a really big fan of since Madden 21, or 3, I guess. Pistol strong slot, I'm a big fan of the pistol wing flex and the pistol spread. So that's really 3 kind of key formations that I like. So we're of course going to be in the strong slot and hopping into what we're doing. The audibles I like are read option, triple option, fade smash, and PA levels. Some other plays we'll go over will be the power O, PA power O, actually all 3 plays on this one, including that stretch. And then I like the halfback dive as well. And that'll pretty much be it. PA boot, LT we will also mention. So there's actually a lot of plays in this. Most of these pistol formations see 9 plays, 9 plays, 9 plays. Some of them have more plays like pistol strong, but this is definitely like the best formation for passing. So we're going to go ahead and hop into those first couple plays, and then we'll go over some of the other ones later. Now, once again, this is in the Baltimore Ravens offensive playbook. I'm not sure if it is. It's probably in the pistol playbook as well, so I think it's just those two. But personnel-wise, it's definitely important to have a fast QB. Good carrying would be preferred if someone has good carrying. You can definitely go on conservative because if you're running with your QB a lot, he will, of course, be taking hits. And the other personnel things is just fullback position. Some people you may even see go running back if they pass the ball a lot. I do like the fullback just for blocking because I don't want my guys to whiff, and he just pushes people back. So in Ultimate Team, you're much more likely to find a guy who has speed and can catch and can block. So we're starting out in this halfback dive. I like this play a lot. I just like the way that Lamar hands off the ball. It really, since it's kind of delayed, it allows the blocks to really develop. Much more different than a single back or an I form or any straight up under center halfback dive where it takes a while. But for this one, the blocks are already almost developed by the time you really get the ball in your hands to where you can almost just go. You can see your decision's almost made for you to where you see our center, he's pushing that DN to the right side. We're going to go left. If he was opening it up the other way, we might go the other way. So, your mind's kind of almost made up for you. It also just allows you to get that running start to where you're falling forward or you're not really ever going to lose yards. This is a difficult run to kind of gap shoot. And you see, you can definitely pick up some big plays, 15 yards almost there untouched. So overall, definitely a good run. Now, motion-wise, you are kind of limited, but what you can do is I like motioning Sammy Watkins. He's usually your go-to guy. It's kind of weird when you motion this guy, but with Sammy, you can motion him in, kind of snap him there to where he's actually picking up blocks. Now it lets Ricard actually get space to lead the way, and he's pretty slow, so I'm assuming your guys' fullback is a lot faster than he is. But that's just something you can do. Again, it's a quick motion to where the defense has no time to really adjust for it, which is, of course, certainly nice. Motion him inside, and then he ends up going upfield. He misses block there, but still seems to just change the way the defense plays, which is ultimately what you want to do. So that's going to be dive. Hopping into our next play, it's going to be read option. And again, I would definitely try and run the ball a little bit more than you pass it, just as a rule of thumb. You don't want to have to pass out a pistol, but if you have to, you can, of course, set up some other plays and audible around to pass the ball. Now, here we go to the Ravens read option, and with this one, it's just going to be interesting. Now, of course, you're going to try and open up Lamar Jackson if you're able to, just depending on what that defensive end does. Weird blocking there, but yeah, with him, you really just want to open him up in space the way we're able to there. And again, try and avoid the hits. If you don't have to take a hit, you're more than welcome to slide. You don't, it's not mandatory that you try and make a move on someone. But I'm not sure why that guy is not getting blocked or why he's running and then stopping. It's super weird. Maybe I'm just gonna motion Ricard out. So if you're running into problems like that, just motion Ricard out. That's ultimately gonna help you as well. But if you can, just kind of try and slide there. Now you do have to slide early, otherwise you will end up taking the hit anyway. But One of my favorite moves to do in the open field is going to be the Jurtle. If you guys don't know how to do that, you just are going to hold the right trigger, press Y, and you can kind of cut up field. You'll never ever fumble really using it. And it allows you to kind of, it gives you a chance to avoid tacklers, but it's going to prevent him from getting like a hit stick animation, really. So I do recommend learning that move. Now again, if of course he has that QB contain on, it's going to be a lot of space for J.K. Dobbins. We can't really show it in this situation, but you can kind of imagine, like, without that D end, of course, there's no pressure on that left side to where you're able to kind of run through that left gap, either between the left tackle and whoever, or the left guard, left tackle. So that's really your Ravens read option. If you want, again, you can do some things like these, but I'm not sure why. When I was labbing this earlier, we weren't running into this problem, but again, if you have some weird stuff like that, just motion over the fullback and you'd be good. Next play is going to be triple option. This is definitely the best play in my opinion for diversity because you have 3 options. First one's going to be big boy Ricard, straight up the gut. I really like that route, this run for short yardage situations because he's going to get the football faster to him because it's basically just an inside zone with Ricard. If you're giving it to him, he's right to the right of Lamar Jackson. It's basically just an inside zone. Now he hands it off like it's a 5-6 trap or a power. It's a little bit slower than an inside zone, but it's still effective. And this is with the D end crashing every time, by the way. And again, Ricard's one of the slowest. He's the slowest fullback in the National Football League, and he's able to get 5 yards almost every time. So definitely hand it off. Again, if it's open, you want to take advantage. You don't want to, be forced to keep it. If he's giving it to you, like this time he actually does give it the dive, you make a mistake. This is the one thing that's better than the read option. If you make a mistake, right there, I made a mistake, I didn't hand the football off, I still have another option, that's to pitch the ball. So here he crashes, we can keep it, and we can actually take off with Lamar. Now, taking off with Lamar, I think if you press like RB or something, it ends up, he stops like holding it with one hand, he actually tucks it, runs normally. I'm not sure if we'll get enough space to do that, but you see, having option defense on conservative again, this is an adjustment that I do. I always have my option defense on conservative. What that's going to do is have the D end always play the QB because there will be a lot more big plays with the quarterback. And again, it depends personnel-wise. If he has a slow QB, you don't have to have that on. But in this case, if he has it on, you'll just continue to run inside zone. And for read option, you'll just continue to hand it up to Dobbins. You'll be picking up 5 yards every time. So here, again, he plays it. We can just hand it off. With a faster guy, you should be able to get to the outside. Even with Ricard, we are able to. Larry Zonka is a good one. I don't really know the fullbacks in Mutt at the moment, but again, even if he does play it, you have enough time to pitch it to Dobbins, and look at just how much space we have in this basic zone defense. If you don't want to face Dollar, you don't want to deal with Dollar, this is a really good formation to do that because, of course, you're not going to deal with it. And here with Lamar, that guy's a little bit too close. We're just going to pitch it out because he can press X, get that leg tackle. So overall, really good. One last thing that you can do with the triple option is, again, if we were intending on handing it off to Ricard, we can just motion him in, hand the football off. Maybe that helps us get to the outside. The other thing you can do, and we'll show some of this with the pass, is you can actually motion him all the way across. So Sammy Watkins here, we can actually motion him all the way across. I think this would probably help with the blocking. So right there, I should have kept it with Lamar, but I'm going to actually try and get it with Lamar one more time because, again, QB run scheme, we want to show that. So we got Lamar here, boom, and it depends. Also, you don't have to run this play on the wide side of the field or the short side. You can run it on the wide side. Generally, with the passes, I like to have more space with my wide receivers, but it really just depends on the setup you're running. So here you got Lamar, boom. That's not good. That can't happen, so it's just the risk you take, but it's not meant to be the best offense in the world, the most competitive offense. It's meant to be fun. I have fun whenever I'm running this offense, so there's that. Now, let's hop into some of the passing plays. We've got Fade Smash, PA levels. These are two of the staples that I like. First setup is just going to be something basic you can do. And again, this guy's going to be in passing plays, of course, so you want him to be at least decent. But one of the setups I like is straight up two-wheel routes. Because with these, you're just going to see if any of them are manned up. If you're passing the ball, you want to force your opponent to have to man up both running backs. That puts him in a difficult spot on defense because, similar to like a split close, it's taking away really two guys that could be either in flats or something like that, and that can open up other routes. Now, one of the setups I like for this play is just to put X on a zig route. He gets really opened up against something like cover 3. The one thing that you love about the fade route is even if it's not getting open, it really holds zones. So right there, it really held the curl flat, and it opened up just a straight up zig route. Also, what the wheel routes are going to do is open up Mark Andrews down the seam. That would have worked as a streak or a in route or a post as it did. So you're opening up that. Again, Ricard's a little bit tough. You don't have any other routes out wide on that side to where he's kind of a distraction, but of course you can quick snap throw him. Don't be afraid to. Him, I'm a little bit scared to, but with any other receiver you could. And last resort, if you have one-on-one man coverage, you want to take a shot. That was a terrible swerve, but feel free to chuck it up. If you got Moss or Megatron or whoever in that position, feel free to throw it up. So again, you got Andrews, high ball. If you want, you have enough space to bullet pass. And again, with the wheel routes, what you're doing is probably taking away vert hooks or hook curls that could be there. And again, you can't man up the tight end and both running backs to where right there, JK got bumped, but you can do things like that. And with the motion, what you can do is, again, with some of the runs, we did motion like this with Patrick Ricard. So if you do that, you can actually leave him on his wheel route, and this creates almost like a seam type play to where maybe I'm just streaking X and like putting B on a little drag. So I don't hate this setup. Ricard's running like a little seam wheel route. He's really holding zones there to where the zig route would still be open, I think. You don't have to put him on a streak. I'm talking about X, by the way, but you can just get creative about it. With B, you can go with like a little motion slant setup. Something like this. And then I like to maybe motion him in a step. You guys know I love that from Trey White Flex. Check out that scheme if you haven't. But that's going to be really it for fade, smash. Let's hop into P8 levels. Now, this play is interesting. I really like it for the play action, especially if you get the ground game going, you get it rolling, you're picking up yards in bunches. This play is good because it's a play action of the dive. Now, take a look at what that safety actually did. Now, we did catch the ball on a pretty weird throw, but with the play action, take a look at what the safety actually does for it. This is just regular cover 3. He actually ends up coming down. So that is, of course, going to be helpful. I'm not sure why he did that, but you can see how it kind of opens up Andrews. See if he does it again here. He doesn't. But with Andrews, he runs a fade. If you have a really good tight end, you could get one-on-one coverage with this, and it could open it up. If you really want to open up one-on-one coverage with that route, and again, it's a choice route, so it depends on the coverage. If it's man coverage, he's going to run that post. If it's zone, he's just going to run his fade. You can actually smart out him, get him a little bit deeper, and you have Ricard on that other route to kind of distract him. So this will give you one-on-one coverage. You almost see how you could get a step. Now, Terrell's one of the better corners in football, but if you have a bigger body, you can highball that and complete it. Now, he just runs a really good fade route. With this guy, I love him being out there, but you can also kind of motion him out, motion snap him, and he runs like a super delayed wheel route. So I like that route as well. I didn't throw it the best timing there, but I do love that route. As far as these guys, they're almost in a weird position. I don't hate just running like X on a drag here and just really running everything stock. I don't hate this, but it seems a little bit congested, does it not? One thing I like to do is go with a little zig. I'll show you actually a couple setups. The first one's going to be this. In route with Robinson, and then we have Watkins on a zig. You can just snap this, or what I like to do is the motion snap. It's just going to delay him a little bit. Now, sometimes with the spacing, it's a little bit congested. Again, I'm not sure why Andrews switches his route. I thought he would always run the fade, but there he ran the post. Maybe it's what zones do. So there, he runs the fade. I don't know what he's doing, but the zigs really open up those deeper in routes. You can do that. Another thing you can do is go with just be on a little slant. So him on a slant, snap him like this. He's going to be delayed, and you see how much space in between it is. It's going to pull down the hook curl, if there is one, just enough. If you're doing that, what you can also do is, I think, probably just throw JK on a little backside type route. So you can definitely do this. Look at Ricard. Nobody over there. You can hit him. So definitely a good play. Let's hop into some of the other plays that we have, because we do still have a couple of plays. Sorry, I'm going a little bit slower, but just wanted to go in depth. Let me know if you guys want to see a gameplay with this. So I'm going to throw in all of these plays. And what else do we like? PA boot LT. Okay. There's also a jet touch pass. I'm not going to show that, but that play is actually decent. It's really good in the red zone if you want to run it. But not going to show it because I'm already running a little bit late. Now, our first play is going to be this PA boot LT. This is going to give you one route that I like. It's always nice having like a deep post type of thing. Whenever it's another play action play as well. So if you get enough time, you can fire this dude across the middle. Ideally, he runs all the way across. You get enough time, but if you're running the ball a lot, he's going to probably be sending pressure to where you don't necessarily have all day for these to develop. But that's one concept I don't hate. Again, you can smart out him, get him a little bit shorter. You can really rifle it in. That was terrible spacing, but I would leave the corner out, probably smart out him. I would probably smart out the corner out and this deep post, kind of like this. The spacing, if it's too weird, you could just leave him. But as far as these guys, you're in an interesting spot. If you do have Hot Route Master, I would almost like him on a little post, but I do like Ricard's route here. You can either leave Ricard, he runs out here nice, and again, get someone athletic out here because he's going to get touches. You don't want a super only blocking or only receiving. You want a good mix. But you can either do that, or since he is going to be better at blocking, you could just throw JK on a little wheel, and you could leave Andrews on his drag. So you can do something like this as well. Now, he doesn't run the play action, but you get the point. Also, there's a look at Watkins. You see him really opened up. If you want, you can also just streak X to open up B even more. I would probably still smart out B, but something like this would definitely work. Little wheel, little post. Now again, you're not gonna have the play action, and maybe the wheel is not the best. Wheels are really only super enjoyable if you're quick snapping them. Otherwise, maybe I'm just gonna leave them. Because again, the play action might hold his user for a split second. So there's that. That's really it for the PA boot LT. The only other ideas I would have for this play would be like to motion over him like this. But again, when you're using motion, it takes a while to develop. So if you have enough time, you can motion him across, basically get 2 posts. Definitely snap him in the slot though, because that's going to save a little bit of time. Play action should help the blocking, but if he's only rushing 4, that play could work as well. Now, moving on, we got let's go with some runs. We got the stretch alert dragon. This play's nice. I actually like throwing this to Sammy Watkins here. If you're able to catch him sleeping, you can definitely it's an easy 5 yards. And these RPOs are a pain to defend because you almost have to switch your entire defense to take care of them, to where I'm forced to like man up Sammy Watkins or throw like a hard flat out there or something, because the curl flat bites just enough inside to where it's almost 5 yards in a cloud of dust off rip. Now again, don't get baited, but you'll take 4 or 5 yards in this offense for a first down play or a second down play. Now the other route you have is X. He's tricky. You almost have to highball, but if it's man coverage, he could definitely cook. The user really shouldn't be looking for that. You really almost have to wait till the last second and you can kind of throw it up. I think waiting for the flat as well is almost better, so we'll try that. Waiting till the last second, kind of works. Now it's weird, he doesn't really run a straight up complete flat. He kind of hesitates, I'm sure you've noticed that. So motioning him in, something you actually could kind of do. It just depends. If that guy's blitzing, it'll be open, and then motioning him in will give you almost more space. But let's go to the actual run. It's going to be almost an outside zone, I want to call it. Similar look to how the handoff animation will be when we show the power O. But there's just, of course, no pulling guard. Now, getting to the outside can be a little bit challenging. You will see things like this. Generally, I'll try and cut it back just because we have nobody, of course, blocking on that side. And it's just kind of set up weird. You want to either like cut it up here. It's not my favorite play, but if he's stacking the box, you may be able to get to the outside. Now, again, with Ricard, you can kind of motion him out here if you want an extra blocker. I wouldn't hate that, but again, you see the block's just not too good. personnel-wise, it can work, but it just depends on what he's running. So I'll leave that one up to you guys. Now, moving on, we got the Power O and the PA Power O. Let's start out with the regular Power O. I love this run because you can actually flip it. The halfback dive you can also flip to where Lamar's handing it off like that, where he does the little flip. He's going to like turn around. So I'll show that in replay so you actually understand what I'm talking about. We'll take a look at Lamar here. He actually like turns his body. So he's going to go clockwise from 12 to 6. That is something that he will never do with the regular handoff. He'll just go 12 to 3. But I like the handoff animation. Kind of throws him off. And look at this. You got your pulling guard. This is one run that you want to be patient with, especially if you flip it. I do love flipping it just because more blockers over here. And Ricard's already going to that side to where if you're running it to the right, he's really going to the outside. And you can get it opened up, but there's a higher chance of being shedded. Just simply said, less space to work with as well if you're going with my strategy of keeping the wide receivers on the wide side of the field. So I would probably just flip it. Again, you can be patient. Sometimes the blocks just won't develop. Don't be discouraged. You want to go back to it because this play has really high big play potential. If you're getting congested, you can definitely feel free to just motion Ricard out there. He's just going to almost lead block. Our wide receiver got shedded there, but if you can get out of there unscathed, Ricard's just going to sprint up, block that safety. Maybe he picks up a linebacker, but you could really picture how he could be off to the races. I like to motion snap him so he almost gets a running start. There he does nothing, but again, that's a bigger frame. Most of those guys in the Ultimate Team will do better than that. So that's really it for the Power O. Again, if you wanted to really open up that right side, you could either motion Watkins completely over. It seems to give you a little bit more space to work with. And again, you see there, decent success. Just depends on the user. Or if you still wanted to run it to this left side, you can like kind of motion him in. But be patient. You see patience paying off there, picking up 10 yards. Our last setup is going to be PA Power O. With this one, you have a nice concept on this right side with the flat and with Andrews. So over here, we're a little bit awkward in our route combinations. Curl route, and a drag. Not my favorite, but what you can do is incorporate some motion again. Since it's a slower route combo, we can kind of go with the same stuff. Something like this. I like to smart out A, of course, but you can go with like a motion slant. And again, he's running that really slow to where there's no issues with the slant in the corner route or the flat. So you need that with the in route. And again, I like the in route. Personally, it's going to be good against man if he mixes up his defense. Or you can go to the zig route. You don't have to motion him either, but motioning him is going to prevent him from being pressed. So everybody else will be pressed, or X will be pressed. But it's nice because if you ran a setup like that, only this guy's being pressed. Because again, the tight end won't be. Either of these running backs will not be. It's man coverage. Simple out route would probably honestly do the trick. And again, get someone athletic out there, of course. But you guys can kind of see with those setups. As far as another concept, maybe like a little motion over zig route. You throw a wheel over here, something like this. I would smart out A, motion over like a zig. This could work just to throw them off a little bit. Again, click on aggressive catch. But that's really going to do the video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.